الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Hello my dear brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. In the last session we discussed about what is zakat and what things if we have, what are those things that must be paid if we have a certain amount of them. In this session we want to talk about nisabs. It means limits. For example, if you have a farm, a garden of dates, of palms, when should you pay your zakat of that farm? How much date you have to have, so it would be obligatory to pay the zakat of that farm. As we said, there was 3 categories in zakat. One was cereals, the other was livestock, and the last one was gold and silver. So in cereals, when you have a certain amount of each one of those cereals, doesn't matter, the difference doesn't make any difference. So when you have a certain amount of cereal, which is 748.207 kilograms of any of those cereals, like barley or date or raisins, any one of those, you have to pay its zakat when it reaches this amount, this limit, which we call nisab. It means limit. Under this limit, if you have, for example, 700 kilograms of date, you don't have to pay zakat because it hasn't reached the nisab. It hasn't reached to the limit we are talking about. So we said what is the limit and when we have to pay zakat, but how much we have to pay. For example, I have 700 kilograms of one of those cereals. So assume this situation, that you have, for example, 800 kilograms of one of those cereals. It has reached to the limit, to the nisab, and you have to pay its zakat. So how much should we pay? How much is the zakat? How much is obligatory to us to pay and separate from our cereals to pay? Actually, it depends to the way that the farmer has irrigated his land. For example, it's 2 situations. If the farmer has irrigated his land by rainwater or water of a river next to his land, or anything that provides with the land, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, rain, river, anything, he must pay 1/10 of his product. But on the other hand, if his land was irrigated by anything manual like bucket or pump or things like this, he must pay 1/20th of his product. So this is the difference. At last, what if some days the farmer has done this, some days have done the other? What if it was both ways? What if the farmer has used both ways to irrigate his land? So in this situation, it depends on what others, what society calls the way. If they say this land has been irrigated manually, he must pay 1/20th. If people say this land has been watered, has been irrigated by rainwater, by river water, in this situation he has to pay 1/10th of his product after it reaches the nisab or limit, which we said it was 748 kilograms, 0.205. Inshallah, in next session we will discuss more about livestock and their nisab. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.